This is us against Calvary Chapel Downey. We've got a lot of, we're South Orange County, so everybody thinks, you know, 2 Heisman Trophy winners now, they think they all can throw the ball. And this is actually my backup quarterback. And the got receivers all over the place.
A lot of speed.
Yeah, a lot of speed. This is the starter.
Like a prototype.
Suck them in.
It's like Byron Leftwich back there.
Yeah. He's 15 years old. He's a sophomore this year. He's going to come back his junior year.
He's not getting any letters, is he?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to pass it out right here. This is actually starting spring ball here in 2 weeks, and this is exactly what I'm giving my JV and varsity kids. My JV kids are going to run this full time, and my varsity kids, this is basically our run package. We do a few of the runs out of the shotgun. Most of our stuff is what we call the fat formation.
Okay.
And then all our passes in the back, I just put that in there because it's all one package. Little history, how I got in the single wing. Played in the early 80s. My high school coach was a Green Bay fan, so we looked like Green Bay. Even though our school colors were green and white, we were green and yellow. And we did eye backs and just pounded the ball. And he'd quote Lombardi to us all the time. And something that stuck in my mind, he said a quote from Lombardi about how if somebody came back and ran the single wing, they'd embarrass the hell out of all of us.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what single wing was. And so I'm coaching a brethren, and our league rival is Valley Christian, and they were playing LaSalle. This was like 94, 95, 96. And Lou Stewick, who used to be the old coach at Loyola, that coached Steve Grady when he was playing, took over and he was running the single wing. And it just mesmerized me because I'd never seen it before. And so every year I traded for that film or made sure I scouted that game and went to it. And it was just amazing. And I was like, that's pretty wild. You know, and that's all I ever got. Well, the internet came about at the same time. So I started talking to people on the internet, started trading for films, got a lot of old films and playbooks, stuff like that. But never once, thinking, oh, I'm going to go single wing. 1999 is when the shotgun stuff started. And we've been a run and shoot spread team for 10 years. And so we put the shotgun in. And we had a run play. We just kind of used the same run plays we had. And I couldn't believe how on the 5-yard line we could run a trap play to our fullback. And he could run right in because they were out covering the pass. So the next year, 2001, I had a young team, sophomore quarterback, but he was one of those good ones. He came out of Anaheim, Pop Warner. He was a big superstar out of there. And we had to figure out a way so he could throw the ball and run the ball, because he would probably be our best running back too. So we went from out of spread, and we're thinking, hey, how about I just put a real fullback in, and we'll run I-back plays with 4 wides, take the quarterback out of the thing. And then I go, well, how are we going to run our jumbo package? We had ran that, the 3-back package, and I go, oh, let's just run it without a quarterback. And so we started running the plays like that. And so what it ended up looking like is we ended up getting a double tight, and it looked a lot like the Notre Dame box, but we moved the guy up, because in the power I stuff, the 2 backs were up, 2 fullbacks, and we moved them up. And so we messed with it in practice, and one of the mothers goes, hey, why don't you guys run that play that all the fat guys come in? Because I had a bunch of fullbacks that came in for that series. So that's where the name Fat came from. So the kids loved it, they called it Fat. And we came out in 2001, and that's what we ran. It was like the week 8, and we were playing Campbell Hall, and they were up on us, and we made a comeback running fat. With 2 minutes left in the game, we scored 19 points in 2 minutes to tie the game with a 54-yard field goal. And what had is that they weren't ready for it because they're used to our 4 wide spread, and that's what we found out over the years. We shift into this, and teams are still lined up in a 4-3 against us. And it gave us a sense of, it gave us some power. It gave us some places down on the short goal line or fourth and short. It gave us a nice power game to go with our passing game, and kind of created a toughness that we didn't have before with the passing stuff. So I'm going to go over all this stuff here. When we first started out, the one that says double fat was actually fat. We call it double fat now because we use one that looks more like the Notre Dame box kind of. And the only reason we went to that is we had a running back. So we did that so they could, just to give him some room. He was a real small kid, and from here he couldn't get the power he needed to block. And this kid was a lot better kick-out blocker than this guy, so that's why we moved him back. So what you'll see on the film, the first 2 years that's all we were, exclusively like that, and that was called fat. Then when we went to that, we called this fat, and then called that double fat. So that's what that looks like now. So that's how they go on that. So you'll see on the thing that most of the time we're up here like that. What we like to do, I like to balance over the unbalanced set because I start off in the balance and then sneak the unbalance on them. If you look at the first one, which we're calling over, all we're doing is moving Y or X over, and we put them out here. And they put somebody out there, and sometimes they put 1.5 or even 2 to cover the guy. Because when we move this guy here, we make sure this is our best receiver. And we might throw 1 or 2 passes, but most of the time we're just trying to pull somebody from here out to here so we can still power more here. The under is the exact same type of thing, except for, if you see, it's the guard has moved over. So that's the tight end. That's the tackle, guard, tackle, tight end. So pretty much the same. And this one we like to use, we had one of the games where we're running this, and they had one guy here we couldn't block out here. And so we snuck over the guy over when we broke the huddle, and then we were able to get one more guy in this guy, and the quarterback got to go 79 yards on that play. And it was pretty much set because we couldn't block that guy, the extra guy, and they didn't know that we had moved one over. We do a lot of weird stuff where we'll do over, under, and then you'll see outside. We'll run outside some just for trying to get them outnumbered and then run a sweep. And then we set them up with what we call stupid, because technically the name is double, over, under, outside, fat. That got too long. We called it stupid because it looked stupid. And what ends up happening is this, I got a picture of it in our yearbook. The defensive end and defensive tackle are lined up right there, and they've got their hands up like this because nobody's lined up on it. We shifted to this in a game, and the coach from the other sideline started screaming at me that I was an a-hole for running this out against him. Are you getting ready for the playoffs? And I don't know, it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. He's screaming at me because we ran this formation. And pretty much all we run, we run sweep to it. We give him the option if sometimes they'll all shift over and they'll leave 1 or 2 guys in that he can take off, and he takes off on his own that way. And that's just he decides. And then we've recently put in the counter, and these 2 guys come back like that, and then he runs the counter off that. All right, turn to the page. We pretty much, the spin is something new we're putting this year, and I'll explain that why we're doing that. But that's the only plays we run. We run 7 plays. The first couple years we did this, for some reason our school had a small number of boys, and we had 5 seniors 2 years in a row, and I had to start 7 sophomores 2 years ago. But we had 17 guys on the team, so it was really hard to practice. So what we did when we came up with the blocking scheme's real easy for 5 linemen. They just straight out drive block. They get down and go. Only rules we tell them is they block a guy head in front of him and they need to drive him. If they can double team, we want to double team. Somebody's got to help the center every play. Other than that, that's all we do. So sometimes we go on air. A lot of times we're on air. Sometimes we put bags. Sometimes we'll say we're going off tackle. We'll bring everybody else that we got over there. One day it was raining and we really couldn't do much. So we brought the entire JV team over, and we put all 30 of them on one side and said, go for it, and ran through all 30 of them. So pretty much it was hard to get a practice. This year coming up will actually be the first year we'll have a full defensive scrimmage against it. We had 23 this year. So we did on air a lot, and so we made the blocking schemes easy. They just get off the ball and go. And some teams started cutting us, so we practice diving over the top of them. That's our way of taking care of the cut, is that we're still going to get off the ball, go over top of them, and let our legs basically block them. And then the backs, we really work on these backs getting through. So it's almost like the goal line dive drill. These guys will, they'll cut the line, these guys will dive, they'll dive over top of them. But basically, the guy running the ball, we want him, that's what he sees. He sees a line of scrimmage, and he could dive over, or he can cut, he can do anything he wants, he has to, when they start cutting these guys, which you'll see a lot on the film. All right, look at the first one, the blast. This was the first play we put in. We had actually the first year we only did the blast and the sweep. That was the only play we had. Like a typical blast play, or you could actually, this is like a wedge type play. Tight ends block out. They've got who's ever the end man line of scrimmage, they turn around, because that guy can run around underneath and get it if they slow it up front. These guys all get off the ball, hit whoever they can. Knowing that the play's this way, this guy, we really talk about these guys scooping up, almost wedge blocking. He's got A gap, he needs to get through. He's got B gap, he needs to get through. He's got C gap, he needs to get through. And then he just gets in the pile and goes. And so that's just that's our, go back to our thing. The quarterback here is 1, the wings 2, this H-back is 3, and this guy's 4. So we go by the play. So this would be 14 blast. Blast tells what the play is. 1, the 1 back through the 4 hole. He just hits it and goes. And this is pretty much a short yarder. We kind of got away from this play a lot because teams have really gone to cutting this.
What were the numbers again?
This is 1. He's 1. Wings 2. 3. No matter where he's at, if he's back here 2. And this guy's 4.
Is that the fullback?
Yeah. When we talk schemes, this is our quarterback. And so when I had the kid that could run in and throw, he just stayed there. This last year, the tall quarterback I had really wasn't the runner I wanted here. So he ended up playing this spot, and we widened him out. And then my wide receiver, who was the better runner, came to here. And then that was the normal fullback, and that was one of the wings, and that was these 2 guys actually substituted in. Actually, no, I'll take that back. This kid started, and the little small slot came out, and this guy came in. And he actually played there most of the time. So 1 back, 4 hole. When we talk holes, the center is, he's got actually 3 numbers. He's 1, 0, and 2. The only reason we have a 0 is that's just a draw play. so he knows it goes right up the center. But so the center's left leg is 1, right leg is 2, and then every other hole is right in the middle of the guy. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7. So the first play is 14 blast. We try to hit all the different areas on there, so 14 blast is the first one. The next one we come to is 16 power, so as our off tackle. So he knows he has to block down the double team. He tries to get down on the next man. He's got the kick out. He's the lead. And he goes. They just cut off on backside, and we overwhelm it here. You'll see on the first tape that this kid, we changed these two guys' blocks. This guy he had a real good job, and he could kick that end out by himself, and then that guy let up right there. So that's what you see on the film. But now we teach it because this kid is more of a runner. The first year, this kid was our fullback. So he kicks out, he leads, and he blocks down, helps down out there. And a lot of times we still get that defensive end right there, so we actually get the block out, and this guy ends up kicking out the corner. Next play in the series is 18 sweep. He reaches the first guy he can get to. He's got the white man. He cleans up the next one, and he actually leads and looks up. We just tell him to go. It's almost like on an angle, and then we do it two ways. Sometimes he can get to the corner and go. A lot of times we talk to him about setting him up like a buck sweep and then going straight on a 90-degree angle and break it back right there. But we kind of really, on him, we let them do their thing. I've found it, I've messed up more backs, telling them how to run. The kids that play those positions have the natural vision, and the best thing is just to let them run. I actually had a decent running back that I really messed up because he wanted to do this all the time, and I kept trying to make him just go straight ahead, and he ended up being nothing. And so when I let him go back to his juke and jiving, he would go 70 then that way. 70 then that way. Now this is my favorite play. We call it a counter, but it's not a counter. It's a weak side power play, and it hits that fast. We don't wait. This guy just goes now and kicks out. He blocks. He leads up. And he just takes a snap and goes. Somebody asked me why I don't have this guy pull too. It just slowed the play down. And with him kicking out there, it still gave the impression we were still coming this way. So we call that counter, and that's just counter blocking. Same thing with these linemen, they just all get off the field. Skip down to the bottom one, 25 counter.
You don't pull any offside lineman on that, do you?
No, don't pull any linemen on anything. Linemen, their only job is to get off the ball. We do all the pulling with the backs. What helped too, when I had the 17 kids, I had 5 linemen. So they, we didn't want to overburden them with anything. 'Cause I mean, they were the offensive and defensive line. That's all we had. The 25 counter, everything's the same as the 15 counter, except for the quarterback now is going to run here and give him the inside handoff. So it ends up being like the double wing crisscross. And he gives him an inside handoff. And you'll see on some of them, this guy here runs and there's nobody out there. He's just, I mean, the 2 blockers even, they're like all out there holding hands for like a 2-point conversion or a touchdown. Because this was the kid. He ended up throwing for twice. He threw for 2,000 and rushed for 1,000 in the same season. And so the whole team just followed him on that. And then we had a play that's done on here where if they really started following this, he would block out and then we would have to keep it. And he had the option to keep it any time. But a lot of times we end up going back on that. Then this kid right here, in the first years we ran it, he was my backup quarterback captain, and you know, as always, they want the glory because this kid kept running the ball, and he was a sophomore, and he was the senior, and he wanted the ball. So we set some plays up for him. First one is we call 46. I'm sorry, was it 44 power or blast? And then this is like the true blocking back wedge. He just goes. I'm sorry. Okay. He just leads up, and this guy gets the ball and goes right behind him. And this guy tries just to come and get a piece of it and push. The quarterback would give him anything he wants to do. So sometimes he would set up the pass. Sometimes he'd run like he had sweep. Sometimes he'd go here, off tackle. And you'll see on the thing, I think I got like six of plays that the ball's going to him, either on the power or the blast. And the quarterback just does whatever each time, trying to draw as many guys as he can with him. Next play is the power. We block down, kick out, and he gets it. And when we run the power line, I tell this guy, I said 46 power. Just that move right there drew these three guys out every time and allowed him to go. And so we put that in now, that he automatically goes there like he's running sweep to draw the other people off. You'll see in one play where also, this kid was also the backup quarterback, where we hike him the ball, he throws the ball, so we'd run a corner to him. And another one where the quarterback would take off in motion, run a wheel, and he would throw it to him. What we're putting in for the JVs this year, you'll see, is a spin. We can run any of the plays off of the spin. What's happening is we have a tailback, and that kid is a guard quarterback. There's really no quarterback, but he's the only kid that can throw. And so what we're going to do, most defensive coordinators, if this kid gets out wide and if he can run by this corner and this guy can throw the ball anywhere in his vicinity, the defense coordinator will freak out. Because somebody got behind his corner and they can hit a long bomb. So what will start happening is they'll go probably two guys on this receiver. Definite corner and a safety over, or they'll move this corner out and a backer out, something to cover this guy, just because we can throw a pass. So anybody can throw a bomb down the sideline and make it look close. So we throw that in, we throw it early. We hear the DB coach, defense coordinator start screaming. We know we've got some type of, that they're going to be in a pass thing, and then we can pretty much play 10 on 9 over here, or 10 to 9.5. By just moving this guy out and using him as a decoy in one pass. You know, we've also got to throw some little quick stuff, and this kid can throw the ball straight. So, you know, he does a good job throwing it there or maybe there, but nothing else. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna call spin, then call the play, and all the spin says is we're gonna give it to him. He's gonna spin, do a bout face, kind of like the fly guy, and then any play we want to run. So spins 16 power. Nothing changes. Spin 14 blast. He'll know on his fake on 40 for blast that he has to go there. He'll spin, fake, and then run there. Spin 25 counter. He'll go there. The spin will allow this guy to clear, so this guy can go kick out. And then he'll still get his inside handoff at about the same spot that he got it from the quarterback.
Coach?
Yes?
You're spinning back. How far do you have him off? You have him sniffing?
No, they pretty much, their responsibility is to be an arm's length away from the guard spot.
Okay.
He can be here, where he's right behind the guard. I like him a little bit over here. I try to say, put your left leg right on the middle of the guard.
Right.
Because what we end up having a lot of times, this guy was real quick, kind of like Tom's guy. He was hitting the snap sometimes. And I mean, one time it was real bad. It was 4th and 1, and he hit the snap. And we never got we were running counter. And I mean, you can't yell at the guy for being aggressive. And so we tried to get him a little bit here so we could get the snap off when he was going. And then the wing does the same thing outside.
So when he's over that far to the right, you can still get the snap to him, okay?
Yeah, he on the center snaps too. All we tell this kid is just get him the ball. The first year we put this in, second day of Hell Week, my center breaks his hand and he's out for 6 weeks. I got to bring up a JV kid to come up and play center for us. And the first game we're playing, this was right at during September 11th, so we had that week off because our game got canceled. And this guy, his stance, you'll see his stance all the time is always looking like he's going to get the ball. So they don't ever tell when he's getting the ball. And even if they are, they're in a stance all the time. And so sometimes they'll end up catching it to the side of themselves and going. But we've never had a bad snap. We've never hiked it over the head. We've never, if anything, we roll it back to them. So we always get the ball. Some of the other shotgun teams we've seen, I've seen the ball go flying and it's 15 yards. That's the worst play in football right there. Guy falls down and that's minus 18 yards. We do lose some things. I know the typical single wings, a center's going to hike the ball on the guy's right knee, and he's going to turn and get the ball there and be running in full speed. That's good, but I don't know. I could drill that kid all day. He's a 15-year-old kid, and he actually doesn't want to be there in the first place either. He thinks he's a fullback. So yeah, that's what he does. It's just a nice little easy hike to him. He spins around, and then we can run all the plays there. Oh, this is what I like too. This isn't a normal play that we run out of the other stuff, but we run 45 counter, so he loves this play. Because this guy still kicks out, he spins around, and then he takes it there. Any question on the run stuff?
No, your guards, you don't have them pull at any time.
I don't have the guards do anything but get off the ball and block. It is a part. It's a part of our offense. So we probably used to spend about 15 minutes a day, and a lot of times because of just who we had, it was on air. Even against a full, this was the full offense, which we've had to run that some games. Because you'll see a mud game where we ran this the entire time. I've got a philosophy that if these kids are confident in what they're doing, they're going to get there. And the less they have to do, and the less they have to think about, they just get off the ball and play. And, I got one kid, he gets down a 4-point stance, and he's like he's hitting the sled. And that's all he does.
All right.
And, just get off the ball and go. These are the kids that want the glory. They're your linemen who think they're fullbacks, and so because they want to be here, they'll be a little bit smarter. And these are probably your better athletes anyhow. The thing that sold me on this though is the year we started 7 sophomores 2 years ago. This kid was 150 pounds. This kid was 170. This kid was 135. And this kid was 125. Still have a good running back. But, these were JV kids who shouldn't have been on varsity. And this kid right here didn't block anybody the entire year. You'll see him. He runs right by him. And this kid here gets down 20 yards field and doesn't block anybody either. And, and we really work on them getting through. And so it then came to if he could get through, then this guy could run too. And so you'll see this kid, he does a great job. He runs full speed and gets 20 yards downfield and doesn't touch anybody. and he goes through. You know, and these two sophomore kids I had, nice big 270 pounders as sophomores, but they couldn't do anything, and they actually get pushed back. And but this kid still was finding places to go. And I mean, I was like totally sold on it, because the first year I had it, I mean, it's exactly what you expect and you want. I mean, this kid was 230, this kid was 230, and this kid was 250, and they all played linebacker and can just run. And all the way across the line, we were decent. And my best receiver was 6'3", 190, so we would run reverses to him. And I mean, I had everything you wanted out of it, and so it made sense. But the next year when we went to it, so we do it now. Like I said before, we would substitute. Like, so we start off in this, and this is a little kid we have. We would substitute him. Now we put him back here, and the receivers come down because he runs through and he makes a block. And because they're fast, they don't stop this guy. Another thing we do that kind of adds to it too is we could pretty much run most of our pass offense out of that too, that formation. And we practice that during passing league. We'll go to passing league and all of a sudden we line up in this, they go, what the heck is that? We run a bunch of our plays out of it. Also, when you're playing some of those teams in passing league and the defense coordinator, thinks that he can just hold your kids and tackle them all the time because he can't cover them. So they'll start that crap, and we'll line up in this, and then we'll just run the power out of it and knock the crap out of their linebackers or something. And he goes, hey, that's not passing league, and they go, you're not doing it either. So you're gonna hold us. We're gonna run power on you. And so they stop doing that. And the thing is, with these kids right here, well, there's actually what it looks like is this, because these linemen are gone. That's what it looks like in passing league. And then this linebacker, he's taking a step back the first thing, and then we're sending everybody at him. Defensively, this is what we mostly see, is a 4-3. Sometimes this guy might come there, but like Bert said in the first time, I really do. A lot of times we don't know. I mean, we've had teams do this, where they overshift everybody. Then we run counter on them. We've had some teams where, I mean, that's what we got on the edge with all that power. So a lot of times we don't know, and we just run the ball and go. This year, when we had 4th and 15, we ran fat and got the first down 5 times out of 7. And you'll see those on the film I got here.
Now, you don't flip-flop this, do you?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah. So like that, running this one, now we run this one, but we just call it fat right, and then run the same place left. Most of the time, we are in right almost all the time though.
You don't flip-flop the line.
Don't flip-flop a lineman. But we're mostly in the right side. I try to create a tendency of we run so much this way, so that when we run the counter, that breaks the tendency. And then when we really mess with them, that's when we go fat left, and they're not used to that. Because I mean, it's probably 85 right, 15 left. So any questions on that? I mean, it's real basic, easy. Let's show the film. This is the first year we ran it, and then we just threw it in at the end of the game. And like I said, this is the first year, 2001. We just had the blast, the sweep.
You had some size, didn't you?
Yeah, that was the year I had the big fullback types. Then they were all juniors that year, so they came back this year.
Too often blind.
Yeah, I had 17 guys, and all 17 started. It was almost like all the guys who weren't going to play just didn't come out. Here's where we're running the power, and the one kid was really good at kicking out the end, so he kicked out the end.
Rewind that, rewind that.
Bring your blind.
Exactly.
That was probably a crowd view.
Yeah.
KO block.
I'll teach you to leave your hand, what?
Here, look, you might know that guy. That's
Yeah, you end up spiking the
yeah. If you watch number one, he has to hit somebody when he scores. He finds people. Sometimes he'll curve back.
Good night.
And you'll see a lot of times in line, they don't get off the ball. They don't do much sometimes.
He's a good little running back.
Yeah. This game right here is what sold me on it.
Run him over, man.
We came out, could not throw the ball, and he came out and rushed for 219 yards in the mud. And you'll see later on some of the plays. I mean, the jerseys are dark; you can't tell who's who.
Well, he dropped the hammer on that kid too. And
Yeah, he finds. See, like he has to hit somebody before he goes in.
The 79 lined up the backfield?
Yeah.
Coach, how do you get away with that? What do you have to do, let the refs know, or?
No. He can be in the backfield. He just can't go out for a pass.
he's a modern dude.
Where do you play your home games at?
At Clark Field, Long Beach, St. Anthony's home field. It's really weird. Some years we run a lot of sweep, a lot of touch. This one just we put a running back in, and so he scores his first touchdown of his career and he fumbles it. He didn't. They still gave him the touchdown. All right, here's to the fullback.
That was nice.
He's not even getting touched. So he gets that.
Yeah. And then that one, the other back missed the block.
What are you calling that play, Coach?
This one is 46 power. If the numbers on here are wrong, it's just the years, everything kind of changed. And I didn't really formulate everything until this year. Yeah, you'll see the linemen standing and watching a lot. They just stand there. This was just a weak side dive. The defense, they gave us a hole, and so we called it. Actually, I think we were running it because there's grass over there. So. You can tell he's a fullback. I mean, he's an open field, and he's still got two hands on it.
It's not like crisscross, isn't it?
Yeah, this is basically crisscross.
That's like Tom Raskin, isn't it?
He does.
Yeah, because his legs are only like this big. I think he's like 230, he's like 5'7". All right, here's This is almost stupid. I paused a little so you can see it. Yeah, there was still a lot of talk about.
Oh.
He ain't quite a bounty, bro.
Yeah, he won't stop. They didn't adjust at all.
Oh, that's for number 8, right?
Coach!
Great picture right
Look
there.
at the little red cross symbol on his back there. Boy, he made his way through there. He just didn't get up there.
He put that stiff arm out there like a cannon.
So this is stupid.
All right.
We also run the counter out of this 25 counter. This is where I've got the picture of the guy going like this, not knowing what's going on.
Wow. That's stealing.
Look at it.
He went to run over him, but he already fell down. He slowed down.
Yeah. Now here's where he takes it weak side by himself because he sees he's got a hole. Also, this was in the mud game, so I think he saw the grass and he wanted to go to grass. We had a reverse. My tight end in this one was my fast receiver, so we got to do some wild reverse stuff with him.
There you go.
So it's pretty much 25 counter, but we give it to the tight end. This one here, we actually give the counter, and then he reverses it back to where the quarterback was. This play, we hike it to the blocking back, the quarterback takes off early, and we throw him a wheel.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right, I'm going to show you the year I had the sophomore so you can see the small kids doing it. So we moved him back. He didn't do a good job on the line. He couldn't get any power, but from back there he could run. But like 28 there, that kid's a stick. He just
See the kid that would run through, not hit him right.
yeah, 40. Yep, 40. What is he? 78. 78 doesn't hit anybody, and then 23 runs through, and they both actually don't hit anybody. Here's a good one. He just keeps running. See,
He must get locked or something.
yeah, it's probably the one he had all year.
Yeah.
Is that the same kid from 2 years before?
Yeah, this is his senior year. This is sophomore. And 15 counter is pretty much our go-to play when we need the yards.
Kid's got good instinct.
Yeah, he just. Thing is, he throws just as good too. He we had every college come in. He was 5'7". I tried to sell him on Doug Flutie, but every one of them loved him, but they just said he's too small.
doesn't play small.
You cut that guy. I've never seen a running back cut over that was hilarious.
We didn't run this much on this one. The kid was a senior, it was his last game, so we gave him the ball. Now this is probably the best this play is. The kid I had running this really fast, and because they were following the quarterback guy so much, I mean, it was like nobody was there.
Man, it's beautiful.
This one, like they all went over there in our high school. This one we faked it to him, let the quarterback keep it. His team started following the counter so much. Now when we started putting the running back out, the receiver out wide, and giving him the reverse that we used to give to the tight end. And,
Whoa.
this is one of our pass plays, the Kentucky mesh.
Nice.
I got about
Oh, is
1
that
minute
your-
here, so let me show you something.
Is that your tight end running on a corner?
Yeah. Now this is one where we shifted the quarterback. He either came out or the other kid came in. Fourth and 1, our first game of the season. He ends up going 65 on it.
Did you work with them and switching the ball from right to left time?
No, it's part of our practice drills. You know, they work on that. But yeah, we don't, I try to
Just let them
let
run.
them play.
You don't have them always have, if they're going left, have the ball on the left.
No, they learn that in the beginning to do it. This one, we started pulling the lineman, I just called his name and he ran. He didn't do anything. And it's also, yeah, we'll run to the ball and get down. This one, he saw the hole and took it.
And the defense is madly trying to get away with this.
Yeah.
They're just running. They're running over your right.
Yeah, because we broke the huddle, if you'll see, if we ran to it. And so they freaked out and ran to it too. And this was the team we ran it, we ran it on him every year. He was the coach that cussed me out. So they didn't know what to do. And then he ran over there and fumbled the ball. So that's the fat package we have. Any questions on anything, or
It's good
pretty
stuff.
much basic stuff? Yeah.
How do you coach the snap, coach?
He looks at the guy and he just hikes it to him. And
One hand?
One hand. Easy. We don't even really work on it to the point of like telling him what to do. It's just get him the ball, and they do practice a lot of it. And part of our pass blocking stuff, some of the kids, they ended up calling it the banshee drugs, they were screaming. Because I had that sophomore center, and he was really scared, so what we did, he doing a typical pass blocking practice, and we let the defense do whatever they wanted, come at him. And what we did is we got the kid toughened up in practice, so when he got to the game, nothing ever happened. So, I mean, they were coming, had arm pads this big, and they were like lining up right here on him, and he'd hike the ball and they'd hit him in the head, or they would run 5 yards and time it up and hit him. And what it did, it kind of toughened him up in practice. That, you know, when he got to the games, they couldn't intimidate him. Being a young kid too, we go on the silent count, so he picks his leg up and the center hikes the ball. You know, so I go, hey, they want to run 5 yards at you, hold the ball, and they'll be offside. So we started with that one. The next time, I go, hike the ball and cut him. And they cut him, and they didn't run at him anymore. And I go, and when they give you the punch in the arm, you know, in the head, grab the arm and go to the ground with them. And I go, just taught him different ways to protect himself, but also to basically, you know, show these guys, because what it was, they were the bullies, and he was a young kid, and they made him cry that day. They loved it, and toughened them up in practice. And he ended up, you know, because a lot of times you'll see some kids, and they'll be playing in the games, and they'll freak out because somebody's intimidating them. I mean, there's nothing you can do to get this look, and they don't want to do anything. And so we took care of that in practice, in a controlled situation, because he knew no matter what he did back to them, they weren't going to, you know, beat him up. And if they were, we could step in and stop it. So he got to practice things to protect himself that he couldn't do normally anywhere else. And afterwards, it was a great, you know, building up time, because the senior kid who was picking on him and loved to make him cry was the first one to congratulate them in the locker room. And it was a nice team building time. And so they named it the banshee drill, because I mean, they just fought to get over there and had arm pads all over, and they just, you know, it's like sometimes all 7 defensive guys would hit the center and stuff like that. And so that was overall, it was a nice toughening up drill. Another one we do the normal gauntlet, like you put your running backs and they run through 2 guys. Well, the whole team goes through it every defensive day. We talk, the gauntlet guys don't just hit them with the bag. They basically come together and it's a 2-on-1. They hit this guy. All he can do is hold the ball and run through. And one of the things it did, it toughened up our quarterbacks, because they have to go through. They prove that they're just as tough as anybody on the team, because they do the same thing that anybody else does. Your star player gets hit in practice, and usually the type of hit that he takes in a game, and he doesn't know how to respond to it. And he gets that hit in practice, so when it comes to game time, he just jumps back up. Got the one kid, number 9, the receiver. You know, when he was a junior, he got hit, just lit up across the middle, and he didn't want to play anymore. And then when we went to this toughness drill, he started getting hit in practice. And, I mean, he was like, coach, it could be any worse than the game, and it wasn't. And so by the time we got to the game, especially with 17 kids, we can't afford anybody to get hurt. So we did such a good job of conditioning their bodies during practice time that they never got hurt. So, especially with quarterbacks too, we go live with our quarterbacks a lot. I haven't had a quarterback ever go down in a game. And most of the time I have one. And I mean, we called timeout a couple times before they take him off the field so he can come back. But he's never missed a snap. And so we do some things. And then they also know with 17 kids, they can't be hurt, they can't afford to hurt. The kids get in a nice mental state that they just can't get hurt. Anything else?